Hey everybody, good morning. It's Robb. Guys, we're doing several things in this video. One, we're going to be doing a book review of Cody Clarke's Kill the Lion, a manifesto and how-to guide for the truly independent filmmaking revolution. Going to be talking about Joel Haver, some of my friends on YouTube, and myself. So it's not going to be a short video, but for those in a hurry, this video is basically made to encourage people to make film, as I have been encouraged. I don't want to be presumptuous. If I talk about making film in this video, I'm a novice. So take what I say with a grain of salt. This is my impression, but we're going to be talking about filmmaking and specifically Cody Clarke. But I thought we'd first start from the beginning. Well, actually, for those people in a hurry, get Cody's book. It's $10 on Amazon. You can download it to your Kindle, or you can go to his website, Kill the Lion, and you can contribute to his filmmaking and then get a free download of the book. So like if you want a hard copy, it's like what, $12, $16. So you'd save that amount of money and just give him like $2 a month, $24. So it'll cost you like $12 for contributing to him. You get $1 a month and you get the book. So you'd be a dumbass not to get this book. You'd be a dumbass. A giblet head. So let's back up, start from the beginning. One of my good friends on YouTube, Oscar Salty Shellback, he sent me money. My friends aren't people who send me money. My friends are my friends, but he sent me money because he got sent money by someone he likes on YouTube. Artisan Tony, who, by the way, I had no idea about his channel. I watched it. He does some interviews of some really interesting people. He's just a regular guy, and he's out interviewing some really interesting people. He's also got a lot of, like, a variety channel like I do. But he did something, and Oscar won the money, and Oscar said, "Oh, give it to me." He enjoys the stuff I make. That's always a pleasure. So I said, let me pass it on. I decided to give my money, some of it anyway, to Cody. And why did I do this? I was watching Joel Haver. Let's back up some more. Joel Haver is an independent filmmaker, and he makes films, and he makes a lot of them. I found out about Joel 2 years ago, 2022, a crappy, nasty year. And it was during the Oscars, March. I don't normally watch the Oscars. I was watching Joel's channel, and he was watching the Oscars. Actually, he wasn't watching the Oscars. He was making a full-length feature film during the Oscar, which has become a tradition for him and people on his channel. I thought this was fascinating. This was like what a wonderful, cool thing. Since I've been making videos on YouTube, I've been making them once a week for 16 years, got over 1,300. The most fun I've ever had on YouTube before 2022 were 2 movies I made that were fictional. They weren't nonfiction, and they were like stories that I thought up and I wrote out in my head, and then I did them and I put little photographs and music and sound effects. But it wasn't like, there was nobody in acting, but they were wonderful stories, and then the most fun I had in 16 years, up until 2022. But when I watched Joel Haver, he was talking about making a feature film during the Oscars. I had to get it. I had to do this. I was like, I put my thinking cap on. It was 8 o'clock at night. It was pretty soon be the next day, and the competition be over. What could I do? Well, I had a story in my head. I'm always writing short stories, but I never wrote it down. So it was a story about a man who has to tell a story about his uncle before he dies, because his uncle was responsible for starting the Great Depression and World War II. It's a comedy. So I just got in bed and put the video camera on me and just started talking for 20 minutes. I couldn't make it to a feature length, but then I put some music to it and I submitted it. And Joel was a nice guy. I didn't meet the requirements of being feature length, but he allowed me to submit it because it was short and it was such a simple movie. There was no moving in it, just me laying there talking. I was able to submit it early, and so I was like number 7 on the list. So when you go to his site of all the people that submitted movies, I was like right at the sweet spot. So I got like 5,000 people to watch that movie. So I was so happy. A lot of people liked it. A wonderful story, not a good movie. Nobody's moving in it, unless you think I'm avant-garde. So, but I said to myself, I have to do this again. So this March 2023, I thought of a movie, but it was very complicated, and I couldn't get anybody to do it with me. So it was 4 parts. So I played all 4 parts. So what I'm getting at, those 2 movies I made, films, were the most fun I've ever had in 16 years of YouTube. By the way, the movie I made this year that I couldn't submit was called The Devil Goes Down to YouTube. It's about a very old man who was born in 1910 that makes a deal with the devil. He wants to live to be 150 years old. He wants to have all of his videos on YouTube, on his channel, make 100 times more views than anybody else on YouTube. And his channel is about one thing. It's about ice cubes. He has the ice cube channel. Every single video is about ice cubes. And the third thing he wants from the devil is a lifetime supply of Tutti Frutti ice cream. He also has a thing for Jenna Marbles, but that's not part of the deal with the devil. So I got to play the old man Ricky. I got to play an executive, Carl Lafong from YouTube, and I got to play the devil, Beelzebub, and I got to play a lawyer, blah, blah, blah. It was the most fun I've ever had on YouTube. And not many people have seen it, but it's a great movie. What I'm getting at, it was a full-length, feature-length comedy with acting, with theatrics, with cinematic things going on instead of just my regular nonfiction, how to do it and so on. So I really want to do this some more. So thanks to Joel Haver, I have been encouraged. For years, I've been encouraging people to make YouTube videos. I have a channel. I have a playlist of videos I've made encouraging people to make their own YouTube videos. But I've never encouraged people to make feature-length films. Well, Joel Haver encouraged me to make feature-length films, and Cody Clarke wrote a book, not just encouraging people, but giving a lot of detailed instructions. His book is 2 parts. Let's get to his book. This video was supposed to be about a review about Cody Clarke, and it took a long time to get to it. I'm glad if there's anybody still left watching. Cody Clarke kills the line, a manifesto and how-to guide for the truly independent filmmaking revolution. When I first started reading the book, he was talking about how the world has changed, and all the movies that were made before now really weren't the same as the ones that are going to be made in the future, because now everybody has access. The gatekeepers are gone. Part of me says gatekeepers never go away. They'll find a way. They're like ants at a picnic. You might get rid of them one day. They're coming back. But I agree with most of what he says. But after a while, I was reading the book, and it seemed like he was going on for a long time, and he was on a soapbox talking about this subject. But then I thought to myself, well, Bob, it does say manifesto. That's what a manifesto is. You're giving your personal, passionate opinion about something you care about a lot. And this was what Cody was doing, and he expresses himself, and he writes very well. He has a style, to me, that's similar to Scott Adams. He's very talky, a writer, where it's very comfortable. It's accessible. The stuff that he's saying is written in a way which isn't easy to write that way, by the way. That takes skill and knowledge to write in a way that is clean and accessible. And he has a gift for that, I think, a knack for it. So, but the first part, I thought it was going on long, but then I realized it's a manifesto. But then he gets into part 2, which he talks about all the things that he's learned about making really low budget. There's a lot of books out there on independent filmmaking and so on, but proof is in the pudding. If you look at the low budget films that Cody has made, I've only watched 3 of them, and the production values, what do I know about production values? I make sandwich toaster videos on YouTube with a $40 phone camera. And no, I don't color correct. I don't do anything with my audio. I mean, come on, what the hell do I know? But to me, the quality of his films are very similar to what you might see from studios and stuff. So I think that you want to pay attention when he talks. I think he has proven himself. And he talks, there's a wealth of different subjects that he goes over in his book. And some of them really hit home. Like he was talking one about little things like if you're out in public and you're filming, you don't want to have someone sucker punch you. That won me over, because a lot of people don't believe people get sucker punched. Well, you if you're out and about, you realize what's going on nowadays, and you don't want to get sucker punched. And he says, don't have a bag that has Canon on it or Sony, whatever, thinking people they know you have a camera in there. Like, just have a nondescript plain bag. But he talks about many different things, screenwriting, outlining, different parts of the movie, equipment, lenses, bounds, sound recording, hard drives, cards, choosing actors. I thought the choosing actors, because to me, here again, what do I know? I think the most important thing about movies, number one, story. Story is it. Story is it. I don't care if you don't have a good story. I start thinking about what am I going to have for lunch while I'm watching. But the second thing is, who are the people telling the story? You can have one person, very good actor, actress, tell the story, and another person, you never forget that story. That story is in your freaking head. You know, it's burned into you because, like, they made it come alive and they were the story, you know. So you get the right people, they become the story. So locations, I thought, was a really good section. So the continuity of transportation, food, drink, editing, cutting, transition, titles, post-production, color, got posters, trailers, description, taglines, festival reviews, streaming service, physical copies, promotion, networking, rinse and repeat, workflow, relations, evolution, acknowledgments. And I left out a bunch of stuff from the beginning. Real quick. Bloop. Ideas, retooling ideas, generating ideas, prioritizing ideas, writing, writer's block, the muse, very important, writing rules, outlining, screenwriting, expected, unexpected, beginning, middle, end, first act, second act, third act, dialogue, actions, descriptions, second draft, final draft. Writing is easy. The hard part is editing. I like what he was talking about, the muse. Sometimes the stories I've had, they just come out of my head. Like the story I have, R is for racing, and the Maktoum-based toaster, both of those, I woke up like 3 o'clock in the morning because I've been thinking about the story for weeks, and it just had to come out. And I got out my tape recorder, and I just spoke it out, and the next day I just cleaned it up, and I didn't really hardly do anything. I've never had that happen before. It's just something that came out. It had to come alive. That's sometimes I make comedy videos, and I just kept, like, right now I'm thinking about one. Nobody likes my comedy videos, but I've got one where I want to make a character that has not been on YouTube for 40 days. No, I won't. I'm not. Let's cut this part out. We'll cut that part out. That's not about this. This is about something else. Stealing locations, line reading, blocking, shooting, directing, cinematography, shooting scripts, shoot days, continuity, food, drink. The part he talked about sound, I had done very little sound editing, and a lot of that was over my head. I wasn't really aware of what was needed to be done with the sound, because I'm aware of it needed to be done, but how to do it and so on, I've never done it. So I wasn't relatable to. There's some things that, since I don't have any knowledge of it, it's not as relatable. But there's other things, well, like casting. I've had to hire people, so the casting part was very relatable, and I understood and I agreed exactly what he was talking about. And so the parts that I'm aware of and that I have experience with, it jibed. It was, like I said, it resonated with me. So I think you'd be a dumbass not to get this book. If you're interested in filmmaking, spoken by someone who knows nothing about filmmaking, I think you should get this book. I think, first of all, you should go to Cody's site and donate some money to him, and then just get the book for free. Everybody likes free. So yeah, I think you should go to his site, get the book for free, check out Joel Haver's stuff. Definitely check out Maktoum-based toaster, RS for racing, the man who started the Great Depression and World War II, and my opus, The Devil Goes Down to YouTube. So, and my friend Salty Shellback and his friend, the Artisan Tony, who has some really cool interviews. He interviewed either state or a congressman or a state representative from Tennessee, and it was a wonderful interview. I think it was as good as anything you find on Joe Rogan. Actually, it was wonderful. So Yeah. By the way, that's a wonderful model, just interviewing people. Because as I'm getting older, and I keep wanting to do YouTube videos as I get older, I think interviewing would be a wonderful way for me to transition from do-it-yourself and stuff and just do interviews. So I might start doing that. So guys, I've been rambling for a long time. You know that's time to go. Um, you can tell I'm really happy talking about this subject because, like I said, I've gotten a lot of enjoyment making film. I get enjoyment making videos too, but to create something, can you imagine the fun I had playing 4 parts? 4 parts. So yeah, I think you should check out Cody's book and his films. Ramekin, I think of the 3 I've seen, that was my favorite, Ramekin. I don't like horror movies, and his horror was very understated. Like there was blood in it, but it was like you saw it for like you actually saw the color red. You never saw blood. You did see some containers that had red stuff in there, but it was like not really connected to like stuff spurting out of people's head. It was like I no longer, after my mom had Alzheimer's and I helped take care of her, I've never been interested in horror movies again. So, but his movie, it wasn't like a horror movie. It just was. It had some horror aspects of it, and it was well done. The woman who was in the main actress, I didn't like her acting at first because when she responded to the ramekin, she did not respond in a way that made any believability, no sense. But as the movie wore on, she was perfect. She was wonderful. So, and yeah, it was a cool movie. And Strummer was good too. Strummer, the dialogue and the relationship between the 2 main characters, um, the chemistry between them was just wonderful. So yeah, go check out Cody's stuff and his book. And we already talked about my stuff. And go check out one of my videos on making pie. This is banana cream pie with chickpeas and tofu and egg. So yeah, see you out there.